Maharashtra's People's Security Bill clampdown on urban Naxals or threat to dissent explained. The People's Security Bill, the latest legislation passed by the Maharashtra Assembly, is aimed at strengthening the state's capacity to tackle threats to internal security. According to the government, the bill is designed to target activities that threaten the sovereignty, integrity, and democratic fabric of the state, specifically focusing on what it terms urban Naxals and extremist left-wing organizations. The bill has been introduced in the backdrop of increasing concerns from the state police and intelligence agencies about the spread of Maoist ideology and its alleged urban sympathizers. Speaking during the final assembly debate, Maharashtra Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis said Maharashtra is committed to protecting democracy and progress. This bill is not against free thinkers or students, it is against those who misuse democracy to aid violence and divide society. The bill comes in response to reports from state intelligence agencies warning about the spread of Maoist networks into urban student groups, non-profits, and cultural collectives. It gives the state more autonomy alongside national anti-terror laws like the UAPA to counter perceived ideological insurgency. This legislation empowers the state to monitor, investigate, and act against individuals or organizations suspected of providing intellectual, logistical, or financial support to banned Maoist outfits. The bill supplements existing national laws like the Unlawful Activities Prevention Act (UAPA) but gives the state additional powers to curb what it sees as a rising network of urban Maoists operating in educational institutions, cultural groups, NGOs, and civil society spaces. Deep dive. Defining feature of the People's Security Bill is its explicit focus on strengthening the legal framework to identify and act against so-called urban Naxals, urbanist sympathizers or facilitators of Maoist insurgents traditionally active in remote and forested regions. The proposed law expands the surveillance powers of state police and special security units, giving them the authority to monitor individuals and groups suspected of engaging in anti-state activities. This surveillance extends to digital communications, written publications, and physical meetings or gatherings. The government will also have the power to declare any organization unlawful if it is found to be promoting Maoist ideology, providing logistical or financial aid to banned outfits, or inciting violence against the state. In cases where any individual or organization is proven to be funding or supporting extremist activities, the state can seize their properties, freeze bank accounts, or attach other assets even without prior notice, although this will be subject to judicial oversight to prevent arbitrary misuse. To ensure such cases do not linger in the overburdened regular courts, the bill mandates the establishment of special fast-track courts exclusively for offenses covered under its provisions. Convicted individuals could face prison sentences ranging from 5 years to life imprisonment, depending on how directly they are involved in providing armed or intellectual support to insurgent movements. Why the OPPOSITION? The bill has triggered strong protests from major opposition parties, civil liberties groups, and left-oriented organizations that see it as an attempt by the state to clamp down on dissent and shrink the space for democratic critique. A key concern is that terms like urban Naxal and anti-state activities remain too vaguely defined in the text of the legislation, which opponents argue leaves significant room for misuse by law enforcement agencies. Many fear that these broad definitions could be weaponized to target political adversaries, student unions, critical journalists, or activists who speak up against government policies or question large infrastructure projects and corporate takeovers. Critics argue that the bill could have a chilling effect on free speech and discourage people from voicing legitimate concerns in the name of maintaining internal security. Several opposition leaders have pointed out that India already has the stringent Unlawful Activities Prevention Act at the national level, and argue that adding another similar law at the state level only creates legal overlap, complicates jurisdiction, and increases the scope for harassment. Many allege that the real aim behind the new law is to brand people working on tribal rights, forest conservation, land acquisition conflicts, and environmental justice as potential extremists, thereby discrediting their work and silencing resistance to big-ticket development projects. Need of the HOUR. The ruling coalition, led by Fadnavis, has strongly defended the bill, terming it the need of the hour to protect Maharashtra's economic hubs and urban centers from infiltration by radical left-wing elements. Fadnavis has repeatedly cited instances of alleged Maoist involvement in urban protests to justify the bill. On the other hand, the Congress, left parties, and regional parties like the Peasants' and Workers' Party and some independent legislators have called it draconian. They demand that provisions be more clearly defined and judicial safeguards be strengthened to prevent misuse. While the government maintains the law is vital for public safety, opposition parties, civil rights defenders, and left-leaning groups fear misuse. Vinod Nikhil, CPIM MLA, strongly criticized the bill in the Assembly, saying this is nothing but a new weapon to silence dissent. Who decides who is an urban Naxal tomorrow? Farmers, workers, students, and even Malays opposing government projects can be labeled anti-state. Critics argue the terms urban Naxal and anti-state activity are vague, opening the door to target journalists, tribal rights activists, environmentalists, or student leaders who protest big infrastructure projects or land acquisitions. Anil Parab, senior Shiv Sena UBT leader, also voiced concern, stating this is not a security bill, it is a silencing bill. The same government which failed to control corruption wants to control people's voices now. The opposition demanded clearer definitions, stronger checks against arbitrary arrests, and an independent oversight mechanism to prevent harassment of legitimate activists and academics. The debate has highlighted a sharp ideological divide in Maharashtra's politics, with the ruling alliance projecting the bill as a necessary security measure and the opposition branding it an assault on democracy and civil liberties. The immediate impact of the People's Security Bill will likely be felt in academic circles, NGOs, cultural organizations, and activist networks. Swipe left for next video. However, supporters argue that genuine social workers and activists have nothing to fear if they have no links to banned outfits. They insist the bill targets only those who act as urban ideologues or facilitators for armed insurgents hiding in remote areas. As Maharashtra braces for the proposed law, its impact will depend on how the government uses or misuses its powers. The real test of the People's Security Bill will lie in balancing security needs with the fundamental rights of citizens, a challenge that will define the state's democratic spirit in the years to come. Latest blogs